Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and today in this video we're actually not going to be talking about G2. There is no G2 related news, no G2 related players, nothing like that going on in this video, and I know that is a little bit of a change of pace from what we've been doing recently, and I'm sorry for that, but there just has been so much craziness going on, and honestly, I haven't gotten too much hate for it. I expected more comments like, oh, stop talking about G2, stop talking about Reckless, and there has been some of those. Don't worry, there's always going to be some haters and stuff, but there's just been so much going on. I've had to cover it all. I like talking about the things that I think are most interesting. I like being excited about my videos and my content, and there's been so many good stories that I have been very, very excited to jump on and talk about, and that makes it way more fun for me. But also at the end of the day, I have to do what's best for my YouTube channel as well, and look at the views that the G2 videos and the Reckless videos put up. They pop off, they go insane. But either way, I think we all just need a fresh breath of air, and to kind of forget about G2 for at least one single video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about a massive update that came out today surrounding Dardoch and what the future might have in store for him. It's actually very, very interesting and something that I'm very excited about. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Again, help us hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I want to go into 2022, with 5 digits. That would be awesome. That would be exciting. Also, consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm, to help support me, my channel, and my content just a little bit extra. With that being said, let's get right into this one. The big news coming out today. I almost clicked the wrong button, but here it is, coming from Alejandro Gomez. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but this is a guy. He is like a journalist, reporter, whatever you want to call it, investigative reporter for Esports Maniacos, who I'm a big fan of. They have been doing some crazy stuff last offseason and this offseason. I think they do amazing work. I really respect those guys over there. I think they're one of the few people in esports right now that are actually doing stuff right, when it seems like every corner you turn, people are doing stuff a lot wrong. I'm big fans of them, so this was cool to see. They did say here that sources, Dardoch will compete again in 2022. Again, he is coaching or was coaching for Immortals at the end of the summer split. So they are saying he wants to get back into playing. His main idea will be to play in the LEC or European regional leagues. And this is very interesting. I want to dive into the article that they did post a little bit. Obviously, they're mostly a Spanish, website, but they're actually trying to branch out into English audiences more. So they have an English version of the article, which is really cool. They're trying to broaden into North American audiences. So make sure you guys go check them out. Give them all follows on Twitter and everything. That would be great. But here it is. According to sources, Dardoch is still going through all his options to compete again in 2022. After leaving Dignitas, the North American jungler left the competitive scene for a while and came back as an assistant coach with the Immortals. The jungler is very interested in exploring options in the LCS, LLA, which is Latin America, and Europe. The option he is most interested in, and the biggest one, would be coming from the European region. According to sources close to the player, his priority is going to be competing in the LEC, but he's not ruling out other options, including playing in European regional leagues, as to prove himself worthy of playing in the LEC. In the past few days, his agent has been gathering all interest and has held some early talks with some teams, so that is good to hear, because, people are going to keep saying, oh, it's only September, oh, Worlds hasn't even started, there's no way people are doing anything, yada. But now, we are hearing, not only from him, but we're going to look at some more tweets in a second, where we know Dardoch is actually already reaching out with teams. They are very early in the conversations, of course, but they are getting the ball rolling a little bit. Yes, Worlds hasn't started. Yes, it's not November. Yes, nothing can be official yet at this point, but conversations are going on. Verbal agreements can be reached. They can have those agreements in place. They can at least express mutual interest, which is a big step in negotiations. So they do say that, nothing is set in stone yet. Obviously, it is too early to tell. So to me, this is very interesting. This is a very big deal. I've been talking for a while about a couple of things. One, I always think it would be super cool to see one of the players from the West go to the East. I think it would have been so cool to see Perks in one of the Eastern regions. I think it would be so cool to see Bjergsen, Reckless, Double, one of these top Western players to go over to China, Korea, and just see how they would have done, how their careers would have changed, all that stuff. I do want to see it, but I don't at the same time, because obviously I love those players. I want them to stay in the West. I want them to help Western teams, build up viewership, build up the region, build up the fan base, and try and compete for titles and try and do well at Worlds. So that is one thing that I've always wanted. But another thing is I want to see North American players going over to Europe. Obviously, we get to see, Chinese, Korean, European players coming over to the West all the time, but we don't see North American players going out too much. So I think this will be very, very cool. From what I'm hearing, from multiple different sources, it doesn't seem like the LEC is going to be an option for Dardoch, and I don't think that's too big of a surprise. He looked pretty good for Dignitas in this past season, but I think, especially going over to a new region, you got to prove yourself, you got to work your way up. I don't think he's necessarily, LEC level at this point, especially after, missing most of the summer split, but it does seem like, from what some people are saying, is that he is going to garner some interest from ERL teams, and not only ERL teams, but perhaps even some of the top and biggest European Regional League teams, which could be very, very cool, because then we could see Dardoch competing straight up against, some of the best European Regional League players and teams, in the whole scene, which would be really, really cool. We could see Dardoch, perhaps on a team that's going to be competing at European Masters, and this is a very, very big deal. European Masters has been growing crazily over the last couple of years. The talent level is very high. They're constantly pumping talent into the LEC. It's constantly, the next stars, the next really, really good players in the LEC are coming through European Masters. And if Dardoch is hungry to prove himself and hungry, to really return to the highest level of competition, that's going to be very good. We're going to see Dardoch at his best, at his focused best. We're also going to see him in a region that most people think would just suit him a little bit better. His attitude, the fact that he likes to speak his mind, the fact that he's a little bit toxic, but also the fact that in the past he's had some very, very high level gameplay, probably suits Europe, a little bit better than North America. Two of the teams that are kind of rumored, this isn't like, oh, they're interested in Dardoch or anything like that, but it's like, if he was to go to a top ERL team, I'm hearing big, Berlin International Gaming as potentially an option, and maybe even K-Corp. K-Corp would really, really shock me, but if their jungler does end up getting signed by an LEC team or something like that, they could have a spot open. That doesn't necessarily mean they would go Dardoch, obviously, but he's going to be an option for them. I think Berlin International Gaming is a much more likely opportunity for Mr. Dardoch here. But again, it does seem like top ERL teams are going to be on the table for him. Obviously, LCS options, but he's played for most teams in the LCS at this point, so I don't really see that as a great option. And then Latin America, he said he's also interested in, which I think would be kind of weird. I wouldn't really understand that too much, but if he's interested in playing and proving himself again, maybe that's where he ends up. One cool thing that I did think from this story is that his agent came out and said, happy to confirm that he has been working hard on Dardoch's behalf and had a great summer coaching Immortals and learning from European ways from Gilhoto and Xerxes, which is actually really, really cool. He's working really hard to earn an opportunity to bring success to his next team. And he says if any teams are interested in Dardoch, please feel free to reach out. His DMs are always open. I thought this was very, very cool that Dardoch's agent is being so active, being so aggressive, and, scouting and marketing his player and getting his name out there, but also the fact that he's confirming a rumor from, Esports Maniacos, which helps add to their credibility, which is really, really cool to see. He's building up other people in the scene, but also he's being open and communicative with the community, which is something I appreciate so, so much. So I love what Dardoch's agent is doing. I tweeted at him. I said, hey, man, I love what you're doing. Keep this up. It seems like Dardoch is in good hands. Best of luck to you guys. And I'm really curious to see how this is all going to go down. I am a fan of Dardoch. I don't think he's been that great recently. He's not really in his prime anymore. He's not that super cracked high-level player that he once was. I think it would have been more exciting to see a move like this, 3-4 years ago, but still, it will be cool to see Dardoch go over there and see how he's able to do, stacking up against ERL talent, maybe even stacking up against LEC talent, if he's able to make it that far. I'm definitely rooting for him, and yeah, I think, more NA players should get a chance over in Europe, because I don't think, every single NA player sucks. I just think Europe has better solo queue, better infrastructure, better coaching, better environment, better, styles, how to play, all of that. And some of the players from LCS really could benefit by going over there and making a splash and getting a chance. Obviously, Dardoch's not my number one choice, but I'm still rooting for him. I think it's a very, very interesting story. I think it's going to be very interesting to follow as the year goes on. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so, so much. Leave a comment down below. How do you think Dardoch's going to do in the ERLs? Do you think he's going to do good? Do you think he's going to suck? Do you think he'll ever make it to the LEC? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, save today, and all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.